رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وآله وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي. اللهم رب زدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصلى وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين. آمين. Okay, so we had stopped at Hocking's the passage from Hocking, which Allama Iqbal is quoting here. So, but on this point, I cannot do better than quote Professor Hocking, who has made a remarkably keen study of feeling and justification of the intellectual view of the content of religious consciousness. Didn't he say that content hard to convey the content? Anyway, now let's read this. What is that? What is that other than feeling, in which feeling may end? So feeling is the source for something else. I answer, consciousness of an object. So feeling is a weight of knowledge. But Allama Iqbal just started using feeling without defining it, because you can understand feeling in various ways. But as I said earlier, what is using feeling in the sense of ihsas, and that is related to hal of a person. And hal is, what is your hal, or how do you find yourself in this world, in this most primordial sense of the word, actually determine how you know the world. So hal of person is a way of knowing the world as well. So there's no doubt about that. And feeling and instincts in general, feeling and emotions, they are part of knowledge, the basis of knowledge, or knowing things. But feeling in English language and other languages is also used for various other things, subjective matters, or merely subjective matters. So it would have been better to define feeling first. But anyway, feeling is instability of an entire conscious self. Why is it stable? Because it is being affected by, is surrounded, so it's reacting to or interacting with its environment. So in a sense, we have our mind. So rationalists normally say that all knowledge comes from mind, and it's different faculties, but mind presupposes more basic knowledge, implicit knowledge, or knowledge at the level of sense, at the level of body, and not just senses, but also feelings and emotions are sources of knowledge. Different type of knowledge, but the type which is essential for our more rationalist knowledge or explicit knowledge. So we agree with Iqbal on that point, but let's see. Feeling is instability of an entire conscious self, and that which will restore the stability of this self lies not within its own border but beyond it. So beyond it meaning objectivity. But here, Hocking, at least in this passage, at least I haven't read Hocking, so I can't say what his overall views are. But here it seems that he has a more restrictive sense of feeling. So feeling is interacting with the beyond or external world. It's mostly reactive, it seems like. But I don't think feeling is merely reactive. Feeling positively perceive in its own way the world around us as well. At least feeling in the feeling in the sense in which it is a source of knowledge and not just mere subjective reaction. Okay. Okay, so feeling is instability of an entire conscious self, and that which will restore the stability of the self lies not within its own borders but beyond it. But that's true for anything, like it's true for senses as well. Feeling is or yeah, I guess reason is more self-reflect. Reason have power of self-reflection as well, which feeling might not have. So feeling is outward pushing, and idea is also feeling his idea. So idea is more at the level of reason, I guess. Feeling is outward pushing, and idea is outward reporting, and no feeling is so blind as to have no idea of its objects. So that's true, and I think that's profound as well. The bottom line is feeling is a source of knowledge. That's true. As a feeling possesses the mind, as a feeling possesses the mind, there also possesses the mind as an integral part of that feeling some idea of the kind of thing which will bring it to rest. Okay. As a feeling possesses the mind, possesses, like grips the mind, I guess, there also possesses the mind as an integral part of that feeling some idea that will bring us to rest. Not just idea, I think even at the more implicit level, what feeling. I still think Hocking is working with a more restrictive, negative, or reactive understanding of feeling. But I would say feeling is a source of knowledge in its own right. So it doesn't just react to its surrounding, and feeling doesn't necessarily needs an idea to be satisfied. Of course, you can go one step further and try to make whatever is happening at the level of feeling explicit. Then ideas come into play, but at the more fundamental level, I don't think idea is at play yet. That's what I want to say, I think. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's continue. A feeling without a direction is as impossible as an activity without a direction. Well, I think there can be vague feeling, and a direction implies some objective. Yeah, but there can be vague feeling as well. So there are vague states of consciousness. Okay, he read my mind. There are vague states of consciousness in which we seem to be wholly without direction, but in such case, it is remarkable that feeling is likewise in abeyance. What does he mean, abeyance? Absence or not working? So abeyance means, where is it? Without. So feeling is sort of on holiday, but I don't think that's true. For example, I may be dazed by a blow, neither realizing that what has happened nor suffering any pain, and yet quite conscious that something has occurred. The experience waits an instant. The experience waits an instant in the vestibule of consciousness, not as a feeling but purely as a fact, until idea has touched it and defined a course of a response. I think that only shows that feeling is connected to consciousness, explicit consciousness. And when we are our consciousness is overwhelmed, what is happening, we can't perceive the working of feeling. So that's true. So our feeling in that sense is overwhelmed as well. But that doesn't prove that we can't have vague feeling, or that feeling can't work without idea. I mean, if you have an idea, that might affect feeling in turn here. But I think idea in the first place would need some sort of feeling, or would be working on, knowledge gained from feeling, although through abstraction and distancing, you can groom your reason in such a way that it totally abstracts from feeling. But that's a level of abstraction. Where were we? I may be dazed by a blow, neither realizing what had happened nor suffering any pain, and yet quite conscious that something has occurred. The experience waits an instant in the vestibule of consciousness, not as feeling, but purely as a fact, until idea has touched it and defined a course of a response. At the same time, at the same moment, it is felt as painful. When your consciousness is revived. If we are right, feeling is quite as much an objective consciousness as I mean, I agree that it is objective, but I don't know what it's consciousness. I mean, it is consciousness of. I mean, that's an interesting question, whether feeling has its own. Obviously, whatever we feel has to go through consciousness. But there are levels of consciousness in it. So the level of idea is much above the level of feeling. So we can have feeling without going to that level, and we can perceive feeling, and we can perceive what we perceive through feeling without idea, I guess. At least at implicit level. Anyway, it refers always to something beyond the present self and has no existence save in directing the self toward the object in whose presence its own career must end. I mean, I think what we can say is feeling is a way of knowledge, is part and parcel of our knowledge of our surrounding. But how it plays this role still needs to be clarified. And so if we arrive, feeling is quite as much of the, it refers always to something beyond the present self. What he mean by present self is the present moment, I guess, and has no existence save in directing the self toward the object. I would say, it provides the whole structure on which our conscious understanding of our world is built. But still, this needs to be understood more clearly. Anyway, so we'll stop at this, basically just a reading of the passage, and next time I'll try to understand it a bit more, in a bit more detailed way, I guess, or at least we'll have another look at it. Okay, thank you.